Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to show you a few simple plays that you can run against a 1-2, 1-1, also called a diamond full court press. Now, let's get down to the clipboard and let's check out these basketball plays. Okay, so first in this basketball play, we're going to have player 2 setting a screen down for player 1, and player 1 is going to use that screen, not going right into the corner, but going over towards, basically from the block over to the three-point line up to the last hash mark, somewhere in that area. Player 3 is going to inbound the ball to him, and we're going to then have player 2 cut out towards that far sideline, and player 3 is going to go up the middle. The reason for this is because we're going to be then having player 1 dropping off and defending player 1, trying to force him towards that sideline. If you don't already know, the main objective of a full court press defense is to trap players in that corner, because then they're not able to go back with their dribble. They're obviously not allowed to go over the sideline, and then they're able to trap them with two players here so they cannot advance up the court. So we want to stay as much as possible inside of the volleyball court that's on most high school basketball courts. Now, from there, we're going to then reverse the ball over to player 3 while he's still running, hopefully at full speed, up the court. That is now going to then get player 1 rushed over to player 3, and that's then going to be getting the ball at this time, hopefully past that free throw line, and that's what we're trying to do. So player 1 is then going to drop off on him, and we're going to be having players 2 and 3 closing off the middle because they want everyone to go up the sideline. Well, what we're going to be doing here is having player 5 setting a screen on player 4, and we're going to be then having player 2 continuing up the sideline. We're then going to be having player 4 cutting down at the same time and setting a screen for wherever player 2 is. That way, we can then have player 3 lob the ball either to player 1 or get it up to player 2 to advance that ball past half court while these three players are still that side of the court, which will then have a possible 3 or 4 on 2 situation against these two players. Now in this next play, what we're going to be having is player 1 is going to be going out towards the ball side, and player 2 is going to be cutting down towards the low block on the opposite side. The reason why we're going to be doing this is because then we're isolating player 1, needing for him to guard two players. Whoever is open, so let's say he focuses more on player 1, player 2 may be open. If not, and he stays in the middle, player 1 will be open. They're going to turn right away and try and take 1 to 2 dribbles to draw that double team. Player 3 is then going to be in bounds, and player 2 is going to be farther up. We are now going to be having, at this time, player 1 reversing the ball to player 3, which is going to be then drawing player 1 back down. And then we're also going to be having, once that reverse pass happens, we're going to be having player 1 cut up the middle. Now, player 3 is now being isolated because of these two players. So what's going to happen is, if player 3 is isolating against player 1, player 2 is then open. If player 3 is moving over here and player 2 is defending player 1 on this side of him, then we're going to have player 3 passing to player 1, and player 1 is going to take a few dribbles up the court, and then he has two options, because now we have isolated player 4 to guard two players. And now player 1 can pass to either one of those two players, and we can set up our offense, or we might have just beat their press right then and there. Now in this last press break, what we're going to be having is player 1, he is going to be cutting down, player 2 is going to be cutting down towards those low blocks. We're then going to be having player 3 pass into player 1 or 2. If the ball goes to player 2, we want player 3 to run inbounds on that side. If the ball goes to player 1, we're going to have player 3 run inbounds on this side, and he's going to be cutting up that sideline. Now, when that happens, what we're going to be having is player 3 is going to be now isolating player 2, because now player 2 needs to defend player 4 and 3. So we can get that ball into player 3, and now player 2 needs to play recovery, and he has to still try and force player 3 towards that sideline. However, what we have just done is we can get player 2 now to be cutting up that court, because now we're trying to, player 2 and 1 is now trying to get player 3 towards that corner. So while they're running out to try and push him over towards that corner, we are now going to be reversing the ball. The ball can either go to player 1 or player 4. Whatever player gets that ball, they need to now pump or push the ball up to player 2, and now we can get that ball up court and be able to set up our offense. So similarities between all of these different press breaks. The biggest similarity is we are getting the ball to one side of the court, and then we are reversing the ball back towards the key, and then pushing the ball back up the court on the other side. Even though we have gone towards the sidelines, we are still within the volleyball court, which is roughly that size right there. Now, I hope that these plays help your team win more games. If they do, let us know in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you guys again later on today for the second video of the day.